Hey, how's it going, dudes? So I ran into a really cool capture. It's called a Mesa Studio Preamp plus TS808. And the reason why I like it, and it won pretty much, I put it in the champs folder and I shot it out against the angle in the Mesa rectifier. There was a bunch of really good ones that just came out. But the reason why I chose it is because it's so well balanced. The gain and the EQ is just pretty neutral and good to go right out of the box. So you can add more to it, and there's a little bit of headroom to play with if you need to. And it just sounds really clean and articulate. It just picks up all your notes, and when you play really fast, double palm mutes, I call them, it's it catches everything. So it's just a really, really articulate and precise capture, and it sounds great. Probably my favorite, to be honest. It's I think it just works really, really well in the mix, and I really love the sound of this. I think Kurt Cobain used a studio, and also a few different artists, like big names, used the Mesa Studio. So it's really an awesome sounding amp. And another thing I want to show you guys is that I use the EQ tone match, and I matched it with Meshuggah. I used a section from Bleed. You know that section in Bleed when it's just that small little second. Well, I used that as my reference point, and I matched it up, and it came out, quite honestly, it came out different every time. And I'm not going to show you how I did it because I can't seem to replicate it over and over yet. Maybe it's just my fault. I'm not sure how to do it yet, but this is the best one that I have. I did 5 or 6 of them as EQ matching. And I think I'm going to try out some different software. There's also Isotope and a few different ones. So you don't have to use Fabfilter for this. You can use different ones for EQ matching. But this is a really interesting concept because you can take your favorite guitar tone, say Meshuggah or Metallica or whatever, and just find 2 seconds, 1 second even, of just an isolated guitar, and then you can tone match that with your guitar. So as long as you're using a relatively similar amp, then it should sound pretty close. And it's not going to sound bang on, obviously, and I had to refine this EQ quite a bit, actually. Like, even though it looks like it was just generated by AI or algorithm, I still had to shape it quite a bit. And so yeah, it's cool. You can just right click on these points and make them dynamic, redo it, make it dynamic. So now it's able to bounce up and down and act more like a speaker, because an IR is very fixed and it's not able to move around. And this is a cool feature about Fabfilter. It really brings your guitar tone alive, I find, and it makes it sound more natural to the ear. Still not 100%. I still think there's still work to do, and maybe I need to just do some digging around on different guitar tones that I like, and then try out this method of EQ matching. And eventually I'll find something super perfect for chords and also metal. So that's another thing that I like about this particular capture, It's it can do both chords. That's why I demonstrated that earlier, because it can do chords and also metal stuff for the single chord stuff for the palm mutes, and it has good crunch, and it's really the perfect amp for me. But I should also mention that I'm using a compressor pedal. I mentioned it a few times in videos, but it's pretty essential, because if I'm not using it, it's not really going to saturate or give it that crunch, because you want to be using either a boost pedal or a compressor pedal. I prefer this because it has the functions of a tube screamer, but it also has 2 extra functions. So you get the attack and sustain, and when you turn off the high gain amp and you just listen to it from the DI, it just sounds like country music picking kind of thing, where it's like you hear the pick attack very clearly, and that really translates into the high gain world, and you're able to even reduce the gain a lot of the times because the input is so aggressive, and the DI track is already hot kind of thing. So it's really recommended that you guys get something like that for your DIs, to get like a really aggressive full sound for metal. It really changed the game for me, because also it acts as a buffer, so it takes your unbalanced signal and it balances it out. So, and it compresses it. So it's just there's a lot of different benefits to using a compressor pedal, because it just takes your signal and squashes it, but also levels it out. So your DI track is just a lot more manageable. And there's just so many benefits. The tone knob, it just brings out the clarity and the pick attack. The level knob, it just increases the input gain, so you're able to get a hotter attack. And it's just very beneficial. So that's everything. I'll put the links in the description for the studio preamp, and I'll export this if you guys want to give it a shot. But really, I'm not going to demonstrate how to do it. Like I said, just look on YouTube. There's a bunch of people that have already done it, and you don't have to use Fabfilter. You can use different software for this, but there might even be better ones out there. I haven't tried it yet, but this is a very interesting process, because I couldn't have shaped this in a million years myself. It's just so random and up and down, and there's slight little bends here and there, and the algorithm and the AI is always going to be better at this sort of thing, at tone matching, because it just has the advantage of using just the algorithms to generate the tones, rather than just a human ear that's just kind of like loosely basing it off of what they like, kind of thing. And I was using Saturn 2 before, and it works well. I can still get what I need out of it, but I find this is just even better, because the spikes just make it more like a speaker, and making it dynamic, that really helped it a lot. And also, I put it to natural phase. I find that sounds a little better too. So yeah, that's everything. I just wanted to give a little talk on using the EQ match, because I'm an EQ guy for the IR. I think that's really just the best way of doing it, because then you can really shape your tone in the way that you need. And this is such a smart way of doing it, because you can take your favorite guitar tone, the one that you already like and your one you're chasing in your mind, and isolate a guitar track and just EQ match your guitar tone with that. So you get in at least the ballpark, and you're able to mess around with the points and dial it into the way that you want. So that's everything. Peace out. Cheers.